And today I'm going to take you on a tour of Game of Thrones. So why don't you come along, hop in this 1981 DeLorean and we'll get on our way. Okay, let's get this show on the road. First of all, I gotta say a big shout out to HBO for bringing Game of Thrones to Ireland. They are set up in Belfast, and 90% of production of Game of Thrones is actually shot here in the north, with some other locales, of course, in Europe and Iceland. But 90% of the shots, indoor shots and exterior shots, are filmed here in Ireland. The wonderful thing about Ireland is it's a tiny country. It's only 305 miles long by just under 200 miles wide. So you can pretty much get to anywhere in Ireland in a day, which leaves our tour. We can hit most of the locations of our tour in a good day and take our time to enjoy them. I don't know if you've noticed, but we're doing this tour in a 1981 DeLorean DMC-12. What's the significance of that? Well, DeLorean was built in Ireland. Actually, it was built about 10 miles from Game of Thrones head office in Belfast. So no better car to do the tour in than a 1981 DeLorean. As countries go, Ireland hits well above its weight. It has produced 22 of the 44 American presidents. 45 million Americans claim Irish descent. Presidents from Ulysses S. Grant to JFK have all claimed Irish citizenship. Population of Ireland is about 6.5 million. We're the least densely populated country in Europe. We're right on the western coast of Europe. As you fly to the States, we're the last country, European country, you'll see before you hit America. The sites that we're going to go see today are, as I said, all located in the north of Ireland, mostly along the Antrim Coast, which is a beautiful, beautiful location. You'll arrive in Belfast, and from there, most of the sites can be located inside half an hour. We're now at Moneyglass in County Antrim. This is a live scene, so this is as close as we can get to the set. Moneyglass is a large domain set up back in the 1800s as a farm, which allows Game of Thrones to shoot large outdoor scenes without being disturbed by people like me. We've travelled about 35 minutes west of Belfast to one of the most iconic sites on Game of Thrones, and that's where we've arrived right now. This is the iconic dark hedges, originally planted by the Stuart family back in the 1600s as a grand entrance to a grand house. As can be heard from the outside audio, it gets very windy in these parts, so much so that a couple of years ago a number of the yew trees were blown down. A local carpenter took those trees and had them made into pub doors. If you go on the internet, take a look and you'll find those doors in various pubs all over Ireland. It's a little bit of a sideline for you, and the prize of course would be a pint at the end of it all. We're coming up now to the main house, that's the Stuart house, that actually inspired the driveway. Now we're going to head onto the road, head right and back up to the Antrim Coast, and that'll be our next location. Question: in which scene Game of Thrones was this castle? Answer: none. An American reporter came here and asked the local the same question, and they answered, course, this was in Game of Thrones, and he wrote it down, putting it in the history. So Dunluce Castle was never in any of the Game of Thrones scenes, but it's such a nice castle, I thought I would bring you here to get a look at it. Back on the main road now, we head north up to the Antrim Coast, which is our next stop. Okay, we've made it to the bridge. It's a kilometre from the car park, but due to weather conditions, we're not able to cross it. The Carrick-Carree Bridge was built over 300 years ago by local fishermen looking for better fishing grounds. Don't worry, it's been rebuilt since then and it's safe for you to cross and well worth the views. We've made it to the halfway point in our tour, and we're in the Causeway Hotel. Lovely locations, but half a kilometre from the Giant's Causeway, so we're making Giant's Causeway, stop in here for a coffee or a cup of tea. And on a day like today, you certainly need it. This is Ballintroy Harbour, which means Northern Land in Irish. It doubled up as Lordsport Harbour back in Series 2. Right up on the top of the coast. It's mainly made up of limestone. Basalt, which is over to our left, would have been Giant's Causeway. So we're starting to change. You'll see a lot more prevalence of the limestone as we go down the Antrim Coast. Curling our way out of Ballintroy Harbour, you can see in the background the fabulous vista of the harbour itself. Back on the main road, and we're now going to take you to a special treat that's not on the tour list. The reason why is because the road's too narrow and the tour buses just cannot make it down the road. But it's a must-do if you're here for the Game of Thrones tour. Pulling off the main road, I'm going to take you onto this little by road. It skirts along the coast of Antrim, meters away from the Atlantic Ocean, and it's well worth the trip. People in Ireland are considered to be friendly. We're not really, we're nosy. We just want to know who you are, where you're from, what's your kin, and it sounds like we're friendly. I'm just joking, we are friendly, but that's our main purpose in life, to find out who you are. So if you meet someone along the road, on this road, you'll probably be asked those questions. Who are you and where are you from? Looking behind us, you can see the vista that HBO has made in Game of Thrones. Out to our left is the Atlantic Ocean. Now, Game of Thrones has shown us mayhem and death all over the screen, but it has nothing compared to what has happened in the Atlantic Ocean. Tens of thousands of men have died in the waters that you now see. One example is the Spanish Armada of 1588. Spain decided to invade England. They put together an army of 20,000 men and 200 sailors to sail them across the Channel to England. A strong wind came up and blew them up the east coast of England, around the top of Ireland, and nobody survived. They were all drowned on these shores, tens of thousands of men. In World War II, the same thing happened. After the war was over, The Germans capitulated, of course, and their U-boat crews all delivered the boats to this coast, where the British duly sunk them all. So if you're into wrecks and diving, this is the best place to come. Some of the best wrecks are in 100 feet of water. We now come into the village of Cushendun with its stone washed walls. We'll drive into the village and we'll take you to the next location on our tour. Cushendun is the next location on our tour. And if you remember Melisandre, this is where she gave birth to her shadow assassin. We make our way past the tour buses, which are numerous in this location. It's the caves of Cushendun. Formed over 400 million years ago, they're the boilings of volcanoes that littered this location. If you go up to the surfaces of the cave, you'll see the actual rocks, stones that came out of the volcano 400 million years ago. No better location for Melisandre. We're going to work our way along the river and through the bollards and take you to the caves. Outside the village of Cushendun, and these are the famous caves at Storm's End, season 2. Making our way to Belfast, and this is our last site we're going to go to. It's the actual paint hall. It's a large square building, nothing much to look at, but we'll go. And it's where they do all the large indoor shots. It's also where the production company is located for Game of Thrones. So we're heading there now. As you can see out to my left, it's the coast. We're driving along the Antrim Coast. It's ranked in the top 10 in the world. If you do come over to view the sites for the Game of Thrones, try and make a point of coming along the coast. It's absolutely beautiful. To admit now, I'm not a great aficionado of Game of Thrones. I'm sure you watch out there know a lot more than I ever will. But there is one episode that I do know a lot of, and that is Series 7, Episode 5. Take a look. That's me sharpening swords, and this of course is Liam Cunningham. What a professional. While the rest of us were texting and messing around on our phones, Liam stayed in character for this whole scene, which took most of a day to do. Game of Thrones hires most of its people from here, including myself as an extra. They hired extras, prop department, makeup, hair, jewellery, costumes. Most of all the people involved in the producing of Game of Thrones come from this part of the world. So it's a big thumbs up to HBO for doing that for this little location. We've made it the 35 minutes to Belfast, and we're in the Titanic quarter of Belfast. This is where Game of Thrones is located, their headquarters, and the paint hall where they do all their large indoor scenes and where they build a lot of the sets for the show. Of course, this has been made famous, this location. This is where the Titanic ship was built back in the early 20th century, and this is where the Titanic was launched from. The company was named Harland and Wolff, and they were the shipbuilders for Titanic, and they were located here. So Game of Thrones has basically taken over their location and a lot of the buildings, and they're now using them to for their offices and for their inside shots. So these are the sound sets where they do all the inside shots, large shots of some of the scenes. Again, paint hall. This is the last stop on our trip, and you can see we'll just be pulling past here now the beautiful sunset in Belfast and the Titanic Centre. So that's the paint shop, and in there you have all the makeup, all the clothes, all the costumes. You'll go there for a dress rehearsal where you'll do your makeup, and they'll make sure you fit the scene. Let's see if we can sneak in here somewhere and do we drive it. So bear with me. Well, we've made it to our last location, and that is the paint hall behind us. It's also the main offices for Game of Thrones. I hope you've enjoyed this little tour. If you have, hit the like button, give us a comment. If you'd like to see some more, please let me know. Big shout out and big thanks to my son John behind the camera. You can look him up at sailfishstudios.com. And again, thanks for watching.